All right. Today is the last day, day 30. If you are listening to this, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. Like, that's absolutely crazy. So well done. This last reading is pretty wild. This is like, this is just, it's wild. It's apocalyptic. Peter's apocalyptic. It's like kind of like that, the Daniel vibes. You know, the end's coming, and the fireworks are about to start, and of course the end has been coming for 2,000 years. You know, the end of human history, or rather the culmination of it. Human history doesn't end. It's going to continue forever, in eternity. But this bad story and the rebellion will be done away with, and Jesus is going to come back, and he's going to set the world to rights, as N.T. Wright says. But as you read, you know, you're reading Peter and Jude and John, and then you get hit with Revelation. 1 John, 2 John, 3 John are like a bit of like a breather between Peter and Jude and Revelation. It's like I call it a hitchhiker's guide to surviving the apocalypse. It's like, just stay in the love of God and love people. And if you just do that, everything's gonna be okay. Just love God, stay in the love of God, love people, and no matter what's happening, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be sorted. Don't get freaked out. You know, John is in a trance of sorts, and he's like seeing all this stuff in the book of Revelation, and he doesn't really necessarily do much interpreting for us. He's seeing stuff and he's writing it down. It's pretty exciting stuff. David Campbell says that, you know, for the 400 some odd verses that are in the book of Revelation, there's like 400 some odd allusions to the Old Testament. So the way to read the book of Revelation is to know the Old Testament, to know the Bible. And you're probably going to recall, and that's kind of what you're meant to do as you read Revelation, as you read Peter and Jude and some of these apocalyptic themes, you're meant to go, reminds me of that, reminds me of that, reminds me of that. Okay, pulling from there, pulling from the interesting. The book of Revelation is not necessarily meant to be read with a newspaper open and then your Bible open. You know, okay, what's happened in the headlines today? Who is the queen of the South? You know, who is Russia the bear? You know, when this seal gets opened, what are these animals that are going to devour a third of the earth or whatever?
Hi, I hope you're enjoying this thread, but I wanted to take a moment to tell you about Theos Seminary, where we offer certificates, bachelor's, and master's in biblical studies, and all at a really low price point because we believe that you should be able to get a Bible degree without breaking the bank. In fact, our certificate programs are $999, and our bachelor's and master's start at $99 a month. Our program is subscription-based, which means you can pause and stop at any time because we know that life happens. And perhaps my favorite part is the fact that we have an incredible student life community where our students get sorted into 4 houses. It's so much fun. We have competitions, in-person meetups, online events, student unions. It's phenomenal. So we would love to have you a part of that community. If you're at all interested, shoot me an email before February 1st. I will waive your enrollment fee. It's Brittany@theosseminary.com. I would love to meet you, answer any questions that you might have, and we would be so honored to have you at Theos Seminary. Come join us.
It's worth considering how the first audience heard this. Doesn't mean that you know, the Bible wasn't written to you. It is for you. Something worth considering. How did they read it? I think that the big idea of the book of Revelation is to worship Jesus and stay faithful to him. No matter what type of persecutions and pressures that you'll experience sociologically, socioeconomically, the mark of God is a mark that every believer receives when they trust Jesus. And that mark costs you. You know, for example, I'll give you an illustration. Like, I remember growing up and everybody was telling me that we're all going to get barcodes and numbers tattooed, and you know, this is how we'll buy and we'll sell, and that's the mark of the beast. And I don't know if that's true. Maybe one day that could happen. But how would the Ephesian Christians who when they became a Christian, they could no longer worship Diana, and they could no longer, they would no longer make the medals. And the Ephesian trade guild completely revolved around Diana worship. I mean, like when people would come to Ephesus from all over the world, they'd get little trinkets that were sold in the marketplace there of Diana of the Ephesians. That's how they made their money. Their city literally made money off of tourism or spiritual tourism. So when you became a Christian, you were kicked out of the Ephesian trade guild. Nobody would do business with you. When you became a Christian in Jerusalem, you were kicked out of the temple, and you're kicked out of the synagogues, and you're kicked out of your family, and nobody would do business with you. And this is why people were starving, and people were selling their land and laying the money at the apostles' feet for redistribution, because they're just trying to take care of the church. That sounds a lot like not receiving the mark of the beast and rather having the mark of God. And then you can't buy and you can't sell. So is it possible, and this has been going on through church history for 2,000 years, that it's cost people everything? Like, what happens if you're a Hollywood celebrity and you become a Christian and you begin to change your mind on a lot of things? Like, are you going to still have a career? Probably not. Like, fat chance. Things are going to change for you. And this is what happens every time. People don't want to do business with you anymore. You're not cool anymore. You're not socially acceptable, because following Jesus, now you've received the mark of God, and you no longer have the mark of beast on you. So you don't have that economic access or the social mobility that you once had. Maybe this is a good way of reading the book of Revelation. Instead of boiling everything down to a literal event, which I'm not saying couldn't occur, but rather, is there a way that the church has read this and it applied to them throughout the church age? I would say yes. We have a great course on Theos called Revelation. Highly, highly, highly recommend. It's fantastic. We have a course, a hot topic called The Mark of the Beast. I mean, all that stuff. Theos, get in there, dig in it. But all that to say, man, you just killed it. You just did the 30-day shred, and I'm impressed. All of the angels in heaven are clapping right now. They're all chanting your name. Go ahead and rip your blouse like Nacho Libre. And maybe go drink a Coke. You deserve it. Well done.